Simplifying expressions, part 1. When addition or subtraction signs separate an algebraic expression into parts, each part is called a term. In the expression 5x plus 4 plus 2x, 5x is a term, 4 is a term, and 2x is a term. When we are multiplying a variable by a number, we write that number in front of the variable. This number is called the coefficient. So in our expression 5x plus 4 plus 2x, 5 is the coefficient and 2 is a coefficient. A term without a variable is called a constant. So in our expression 5x plus 4 plus 2x, 4 is the constant. Like terms are terms that contain the same variables. In our expression 5x plus 4 plus 2x, 5x and 2x are like terms because they both contain the variable x. In the expression 5x plus 4 plus 3, 4 and 3 are like terms because they are two terms that have no variable. To simplify an algebraic expression, use properties such as the associative or commutative property to generate an equivalent expression that has no like terms and no parentheses. For example, when we simplify the expression negative 3 times 5x, that parentheses indicates multiplication. So that's negative 3 times 5x. And that 5x also means 5 times x. So we can rewrite this expression like this, negative 3 times 5 times x. And then according to the associative property, I can take my parentheses and move them around to different terms when I am multiplying, and it will not affect the product. So I'm going to put the parentheses around my like terms, both terms that have no variable, my constants. So this is the associative property that allows us to do this. Now I can combine my like terms. Negative 3 times 5. Well, I know that the product of a negative times a positive is negative, and 3 times 5 is 15. So negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. And then I bring down the times x. I can rewrite negative 15 times x as negative 15x. So the expression negative 3 times 5x is equivalent to negative 15x. Simplify the expression 7 times x times 10. Well, I see that inside the parentheses we have 7 times x, and outside the parentheses we have 10 times 10. Well, according to the commutative property, I can switch the places of the x and the 10 so that both of my constants, my numbers without variables, are next to each other. So that is thanks to the commutative property. And you'll notice that when we switch the places of the x and the 10, we've also regrouped the numbers. 7 and 10 are now grouped inside of the parentheses. And because that has to do with grouping, that is the associative property. So now I can do 7 times 10, which is 70. So my expression is 70 times x, which can simply be written as 70x. Simplify the expression 2x plus 5 plus x. Well, according to the commutative property, I can switch the places of this 5 and this x without affecting the sum. So I'm going to write 2x plus x plus 5. So now my like terms are next to each other. And I can combine these because they both have a variable of x. Well, 2x plus 1x is 3x. And then we have our plus 5 out here. So remember, that was because of the commutative property. 3 friends will pay X dollars each for admission to the museum plus $1 each to view the mummy exhibit. A 4th friend will pay admission but will not view the mummy exhibit. Write and simplify an expression that represents the total cost. So let's highlight the important information. I've highlighted the question. We need to know that there are 3 friends. They pay X dollars each for admission plus $1 each for the mummy exhibit. So let's just start with that. 3 friends pay X dollars each plus $1 each. So that means 3 times X plus 1. But then it says a 4th friend, so one more friend, will pay for admission but will not view the mummy exhibit. So they are still going to pay X dollars for the admission, but they're not going to pay for the mummy exhibit. So we can say plus X out to the side. So the expression 3 times X plus 1 plus X represents the total cost. Now I can use the distributive property to distribute this 3 amongst the terms in the parentheses. So I have 3 times X plus 3 times 1, and then we can't forget that last little plus X at the end. So that was the distributive property. Now I want you to see if you can figure out what other property it is that we use here to simplify this expression and find the answer. Remember, you're not solving for X, you're just simplifying the expression. So go ahead and press pause, and then you can press play to check your answer. So the other property is commutative. We can switch the places of the 3 and the X so that our like terms with the variable X are next to each other, and then we combine like terms and simplify.